Hi,
Hi.
I'm Michael. Welcome to the Echo World YouTube channel. Today, I have the honor of interviewing a most amazing woman. She's written a number of books. She does shamanic healing. Louise M. Mitchell, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. You're a beautiful person for saying that. I appreciate it.
Only the facts. Let's get right to the questions, Louise. You call yourself Laughing Waters. Why?
Well, that's a really sacred question. One evening, I was driving back to a house where I had done my first shield meditation. And this was in about 1990, 91. And my spirit guide spoke to me in my ear for the first time, as if she was sitting on my shoulder. And she said, "Louise is Laughing Waters." And as she said the words, I could hear a gurgling brook or a bubbling creek. It's like I could hear in my name that very image and that energy. And it's not something you argue with and decide to discuss or play around with. It's like a bestowed name. So it comes from my spirit guide. And I happened to be on a road where I was about to enter a dam where there was still waters on the left, which was her name, Still Waters. And then it flowed down to a creek to the right. And that's Flowing Waters is me. So
Beautiful.
The importance of the name, it constantly reminds me to lighten up and to find the humor and the light side. All of our healing and relief comes through lightheartedness, and we don't see that around us much, so we have to bring it ourselves.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
You have a book and a meditation CD set that you have available to people under that name.
Yes, it has that name. And my spiritual journey really began when I started meditating. And for me, meditation is the tool to use to find the answers, to do the seeking. And it can be a quiet sitting meditation, or it can be a walk in the woods, or it can occur at any moment, a meditative moment. But that book I created to honor meditation as a journey inward. And the meditations have to do with past, identifying a past life, or connecting with a spirit guide, any of these things that are like stepping stones along the way, that we can start to get to know ourselves, our souls, our spirits, our heart better. Because the wisdom really comes the more we know ourselves. And it's really very introspective. So this is actually a picture of a lotus blossom that my mother took when she was still alive. Yeah.
Oh,
so
lovely.
Homage to her. Yeah. So that's a fun book, and I sometimes use it with my clients. We do classes. We go chapter by chapter. This day and age, I'm finding that if people don't already know how to meditate, that they really want their hand held, not critical. I'm not saying that critically. I'm saying they need the synergy and the support of that environment because it doesn't exist elsewhere in their life. It's like an isolated thing they want to do called meditation.
You could say it's almost denied in the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
You have another book that's available on Amazon called Feet Upon the Earth.
Yeah, Feet Upon the Earth. That's a fun one. See, and this is really sort of memoir and from my note taking. When I first started meditating, and I wrote this in Echo recently, and it's the first time I've ever said it out loud or written it. Mark Twain started appearing in my wallpaper, and I'm like, this is really kind of bizarre. But he kept coming back, and he kept encouraging me, take notes on your meditations, take notes. And in the shamanic series I'm writing right now, my shaman always tells his students to take notes, because these are fleeting insights that we have, and they just vaporize and disappear. And when you go back and look through your note taking, you find the magic and you discover when you really discovered something. So this is a collection, Feet Upon the Earth, is a collection of my stories, of my adventures, both inward reflections and meditation, and going out in life and experiencing life differently from a different point of view, from a meditative eye. And some of the stories are really funny, and the joke is all on me, obviously. But dealing with past lives, there's a lot of energy buried there that can be released. And for me, the past lives are all about re-energizing us in this life. They either explain why we suffer the way we suffer, or they remind us of something we mastered and learned long ago, like the joy of living as a Hopi basket maker. Nothing better than that. Try to duplicate that now in 2020.
Good luck.
And it also reminds us of, people repeat in our lives. There's a familiarity about them, and it's that lesson returning, or it could be that support, that love returning. You don't know. But lots of fun things. I have a picture hanging here. There's Renoir's Boating Party, very famous large painting that's in DC in a museum there, and I've loved it forever. And I've come to find out who all those souls are that are in that painting.
Wow.
And a bunch of them were in my yoga class that
Wow.
I had in college. I mean, these people resurface, and it just weaves life deeply and gives meaning to things that are just waiting to be discovered. It's magical.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you have a third book out called Rain Makes the Rocks Sing. But
yes, that is a very poetic name for a book that when I reissue it, it's going to be called Stone Cards. Because I look to nature for a lot of my wisdom. I hear the voice of nature and the universe, God, spirit, in rocks, in trees. And so this is a collection of 33 rocks that have spoken messages to me to give to humanity. And there's a deck of cards that comes with it. And each stone has a name that goes with its message.
So Vera and I have used the cards. They're really fun, and they're very effective.
Yeah, and I find at book fairs and other places when strangers come up and give it a try, they're like amazed at how perfect that message is. And that's what it's all about for me, is knowing that I've been able to connect with someone and help them find the light in the darkness, and hope, and, just to find the jocularity of life again. Yeah, so they're really great. I'm going to be reissuing those. The book part is easy. The card part is more complicated. So
yeah, publishing.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
I do have about 3 sets left that I can still sell right now.
So people should email you if they
they can email me at thenaturelady10@gmail.com.
Excellent. Now you do shamanic healings and counseling.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Well, it has been an evolving thing, and I will say the word awesome is so overused right now that it fails to really have meaning. But it is awesome. It is just awesome. I usually start with conversation because clues come out in the words, and spirit talks to me and helps guide me, and we latch on to particular things of importance. And sometimes a session is just discussion. Sometimes it's supported by card pulling to get more clues, because a shaman doesn't really work ahead of the client. The client has to lead the way because the client remains in charge and responsible for their own growth. Now,
boy, that's refreshing.
Yeah, a psychic might say, oh, you don't want to date him, you want to date him, sort of tell you what to do. But with a shaman, we're we're pulling it out. We're working from the inside. So there's conversation, there's cards, but I work very deeply with crystals, and I also do Reiki. And I think everybody's familiar with Reiki at this point. The crystal healing is a little more confusing, but in a nutshell, the human body, the person is very malleable and changeable. We're affected by sunshine and rain and moods and politics and everything in the world. You know, we're just very mutable, and we can lose track of our balance. And the stones vibrate to our energy centers and return us to our balance point. And in the process, I can clear out chakras that are holding things that are ready to go, or things that the client maybe didn't even know about, but spirit is guiding me, get it out, take care of this. And because, you know, the basic crystals are in the quartz family and in the calcite family and, you know, other minerals, but they're not all the same. They all vibrate the same. But I sit with my healing stones and I ask them how they want to be used. And some of them say, I'm just for you. And some of them say, I'm for everybody. So now I know I'm in the group that want to be doing healing work with clients. And then I say, how do you want me to use you? And I find I have a whole range of tools that I can use. You know, not every amethyst has the same purpose, even though it has the same vibration, is what I'm saying. So it's a great wonder that I have all the tools I need to help the clients I have, and everything is always evolving and growing like that. But the same energy that I used to write the rock book is the same energy I use to work with the stones that I use in healing. So people leave feeling awesome. They say they're so calm and centered and balanced. And it's like for the last year, they've been just off on a tangent and they're suddenly just brought back to center. It's very beautiful,
Lovely.
very healing,
Lovely.
yeah. And the stones are amplifiers, so they help the spiritual energy amplify the healing, you know, make it stronger.
Can people find out more about this on your Facebook page?
Yes, to a certain extent, but I tell you, just email me at this point. The
Say
same
the email one more time.
Sorry?
Say the email one more time.
thenaturelady10@gmail.com.
Excellent. These interviews are always too short for me, but is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Well, I'd like to say the one thing we didn't talk about is the shield making.
Great.
And I have here the very shield that we wrote about in your newspaper.
Beautiful.
This is, when all is said and done, all there is one. And it's through meditation and shield vision receiving that walking the journey, a lifetime of spiritual growth. And the shields are all on the large hoop of life, and we're just always moving around those different lessons. So that's something that's pretty unique, and it's beautiful to have a physical representation for spiritual growth.
And you offer these as group classes and individually?
Yes, and okay. The main requirement is that someone be good at meditating and be comfortable, maybe meditating for an hour, and just being able to stay focused, because then spirit stays with us while we make the shields too. It's like a mini vision quest.
I love it.
And again, it's awesome, but I hate to use the word.
It works for this interview as well, Louise. This has been great. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Echo World, the news.
Thank you.
And it's a joy having you on our YouTube channel, and we'll talk about doing it in the future.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, thanks.
Blessings to all.
To all.